You know, what's amazing is all the flash options we have today, from Godox to Photo to Neewer, to Flashpoint, all of them. There's so many choices, and they are getting so much better. Today, I'm going to be using the 120 from Neewer. This is a really nice unit. Now, because it's a 120 unit, it's a bigger unit, but it's still not much bigger than the 80-100. See, they're pretty much, it's a little bit bigger, obviously, because it's pushing 120 watts. But they made this recessed so it can fit in the magnetic mounts, which I love. Um, Anyway, we're going to be using a giant umbrella today because I really love the giant umbrella for a lot of people because it's so easy to use and so forgiving. So I did try to use this in the magnetic mount, and it just needed to be a little bit longer, this mount that they did here, the recess, because it doesn't quite hit the magnets. It's a little bit, but it's not enough to hold it. So if you have one that clamps down, it'll hold it, but not securely. So unfortunately, that's a miss. Now, I did try it in the Photo mount, and it works in there. In the Photo mount, which this thing is outrageously expensive, but it is tight in here with the magnets, because the whole thing slides in. It's big enough to have that unit slide right in. So that's not an issue. So if you do have a Photo mount like this, but then you would have to use the Photo gear, but it does work in that. And the bracket that it comes with is fantastic. This is the bracket that comes with it, and it's an all metal bracket. It works great. It has the umbrella mount, so this is a great option as well if you just want to use umbrella. But this light in TTL, it was somewhat accurate. I'm thinking it's more hot than anything, but we'll go through the photos and see them during the shoot. Now, when I was using a large umbrella, with mixed light, the TTL did pretty good. When I turned the light down, it still did really good, but I was more comfortable with it in manual mode. Now, when we put it in this and walked around the building, it was okay in TTL. Not great, but it was okay. But again, I'll show you the images as we go through. But I just wanted to bring this up because I wanted to try it in the flip box, the soft box, and see if it fit in here. And it's a little loose. I'm going to try it in the Photo one. It's solid in the Photo one. I mean, it doesn't move because it has a shorter flange. This has a deeper a flange on here, so that's why it doesn't quite reach the magnetic mount. Now, I don't know how other brands would be, whether the what is it, the Angler, or they may have a mount for it by now. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to show you this just in case. But these lights, they're not bad. And you'll see I pull in the Z3R into the shoot with the grid on it for a side light, hair light as well. So yeah, we're using the full system. Now, like I said, there's so many different systems out there, which one's better. There's really no better one at this point. They're all pretty much, if you're in that ecosystem or like that ecosystem, they're all going to do pretty much the same thing. But this little remote, I like this. This is just a learning curve for me because I haven't used these very often. But I did want to show them on the channel because I know a lot of people like the Neewer flashes. Now, I remember almost a year ago, I showed you the square Neewer studio strobe, and I love those. I think they're fantastic. It's a square format, really powerful, great battery life. So if you're in that system already, adding these as hair lights and rim lights, or this one as a main, because it was fantastic. The power is great on this thing. Now, wait, I'm going to see what the power level's at right now, because we were shooting it for quite a while here. Yeah, the battery didn't even move. The battery level didn't even move on this throughout this whole shoot. And, the battery on this one is just as good. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I'm rambling a lot, but let's get into the shoot and see how these do. Like I said in the beginning of this, there are so many options for lighting today. We are so spoiled, it's ridiculous. And they're getting so good. Now, this Q120 by Neewer, this kind of surprised me, honestly. I didn't test the power. I don't know how more powerful it is than the 80-100. I didn't really care. The only thing I looked at was the color of the light. When it moved up and down, the power, did it change color? Did it, have big fluctuations? And it didn't. It's a really clean light as far as the color is concerned, which was amazing. Now, I dropped down the LEDs quite a bit now. I was using mixed lighting to start, and now it's just that, big umbrella that's lighting her. Very, very little ambient light is coming into this at all, because I wanted to see if the color shift would make any kind of difference. Now, I did match the LED to the strobe in that first part, and I was shooting around 5800 Kelvin. The strobe didn't fluctuate as far as color, no matter what the TTL was. So that right there is a win for me. Now, at 120 watt seconds versus 100, it's not much of a boost, but it is a boost. And, when I went through this whole shoot, I looked at the battery power, and the bar didn't move. And believe me, this thing was pushing out some light, because that's a 70-inch umbrella, and it has a diffuser on it. But you can see this light. It is absolutely stunning. Even with, hair in front of her face and so forth, that wraparound will take care of that. You'll still get some shadows like you can see there, but they're soft. But I like the shadows because it gives that 3D effect, and it's not a hard line shadow. That's what you get with big umbrellas like this. And being able to use a tiny light like this in a giant umbrella is so convenient. I would prefer an umbrella 90% of the time over a softbox. They're just easier, lighter, take up less space, a lot less expensive. You just can't beat this for good, clean, soft light. But you can still move it around and get some kind of shadow or some kind of drama to it just by the placement of it. Now, I'm adding in that Z3R as a hair light, and I'm putting the grid on it. The Z3R, I had good luck with that in TTL on the Nikon. I didn't have that good luck with it on the Fuji. It wasn't great on the Fuji at all. But on the Nikon, it wasn't bad at all. Now, I switched it over to manual, so I'm shooting everything in manual now. You notice I put the modeling light on really quickly because I wanted to make sure I was hitting her correctly. These little features like this, they come in handy. I mean, they're not perfect, but I'm glad they're there. Now I'm switching over that V-flat to the black side, so it absorbs light on that black side. I just want to add a little bit more contrast into the face, adding a little bit more shape to the face, and it worked out pretty well. Again, you have a big light here, but you can see that shadowing is just a little bit, a little deeper on that side. But since it is such a big umbrella, the wraparound is so great that it's going to still hit that side. But I did want to absorb some of it just to give it a little bit more depth, and it's working out well. Now, this one was a little bit underexposed because I moved that light forward and turned it away, and I didn't turn up the power on that light. I'll adjust that as I go and as I look at it. Now, I just dropped it down. I wanted to drop down the lights just to get some floor shots, see how it does. And I'm telling you, there's just no complaining about this light system. For those of you that are already on the newer system, especially those gorgeous studio strobes they have, this is a nice setup. Now, we're going to walk around the building, and I figured I'll just throw it in this flip box anyway, because it has that locking mechanism. No, the magnets don't hit. But again, the angler may be completely different because the angler isn't as deep as this one. The flip is the SMDV flip. It has a really deep collar on that. I mean, deeper than most. So I put it in there anyway and clamped it down, and it wasn't moving. So I'm fine with it. I didn't worry about it falling out while I was shooting, and it did a good job. Now, this shot here, I hate this because, our legs are pretty bright, and I can't do anything about that because of the angle of light. So I'm going to move that light over just a little bit to see if I can, calm that light down on her leg a little bit. But in this situation, no matter what I did, the light on the leg is going to be a little bit brighter because it's closer to the light. So I just took it down in Photoshop, or in Lightroom, sorry, and made it a better image because my eyes were going right to her leg instead of her face. I don't always show a lot of the building when I'm doing this video, so I figured I'd let it go and let you take a look around the building. I've been in this building for many, many years, and I just love the building. It changes weekly. There's something different. And there's something around every corner, whether you're into the ceilings or down in the corners, you'll see toys and knickknacks and everything. It's absolutely amazing. The owner just keeps going and going with this building. He always makes it exciting to walk into this place because there's something different happening all the time. So I just wanted to share this with you, rather than just going from place to place. And there's so many places to shoot, but it's like living in a place. Like if you live in New York, you never go see the Statue of Liberty. Everybody else comes and they go see the Statue of Liberty, but you live there, so you don't see that stuff. And for me, the building, there's so much stuff in here and so many places to shoot, but I'm blinded to half of them because I'm here all the time. So I really like to say to the models, hey, when you see a place you want to shoot, we'll stop there and we're going to shoot at it. And that's what I do quite often now, because they come up with some really cool ideas. They come up with, the ideas that have been shot many times before, because, they're obviously good places to shoot. But sometimes they come up with places that I wouldn't think of. So that's why I let them pick the places they want to shoot, and have fun with it. Now, this box is doing really well. I don't know why I put the modeling light on that, but I do shut it off. I was looking at it, I'm going, well, that's going to suck down the power. But it was on for quite a little bit here. And again, at the end of the shoot, I looked at that battery and it didn't even move one bar. So I was impressed with it. Now, right now I'm around ISO 400. I'm going to bump it, or 200. I'm going to bump it up though, because I want to bring in more of the backdrop. You can see that chair. I hate this shot because of that chair. Even though it's darker, it's so distracting. So I'm going to try to position myself rather than moving the chair, because some objects you can't move. I want to be able to position myself to make it look good, and get the right angle so that chair is not on it. Now that chair is still in this damn shot. And it was driving me crazy. It's a white rocker, and I wanted to get the shot that chair wasn't in or any part of the image. So I figured challenge myself and do this. I'm almost there, but it's not quite. So the last shot, I really got down. I can still see a little bit through her arm, but the top part is gone. So it doesn't bother as much. It's not quite as distracting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. If you have any questions, leave them below.